Now, I hate to bring it up, but we're big fans of Shandling.
Oh, yeah. Shandling was great.
You guys were tight.
Shandling was my mentor. He was one of the first comics I met out here.
Wow.
And I learned how to craft jokes with him. And we'd be on the phone, like, if I had a gig somewhere, like a corporate gig, I'd call him. I said, Gary, I'm doing this thing for Microsoft or whatever. And the CEO is talking. I'm not sure what to say. And so we'd be on the phone for like 2 hours, like coming up with Microsoft jokes or, something about the CEO. Mm-hmm. And I would just like move on. He had a good joke. Oh, that's great. Okay, now what about this area? He goes, no, let's stick with this right here. Let's come up with some more. I like to hit and run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah, your hunks, you could have like hunks out of your jokes. You just don't milk them enough.
Whoa, that's good because the premise is the hard part to come up with. So if you got a premise, you got to.
And if you have one good joke, you're going to have more.
Right. Yeah, Norm always talked about, because Norm was such a great joke writer, and then he said the Shandling joke that broke his brain was he had that old joke, I'm banging Miss Georgia. Well, former Miss Georgia. Well, it was George Foreman. That's a great joke, but Norm's like, how did you come up with that? Like, how did your brain figure that out?
It's a silly brain, man. It's like one of his other jokes I love that he did was, sometimes I'll shave one of my legs so it feels like I'm sleeping with a woman. Or he goes, I can't afford a private jet, but I could afford to pay everybody else to get off of my commercial jet.
Yeah, he had.
He was great, man. He was such a.
But you played in Shandling's game, right?
Yeah, we played there a lot, and those were amazing. Those games. It was almost like he was like the host of a talk show. I said, Who do we got on this Sunday? We got Duchovny coming in.
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. And then afterwards, we'd have, just gather in this little TV room, had a TV on with the game, sound down, and Adam McKay would be there, Judd Apatow.
Wow.
And
Can Judd hoop? I was like, I hate to size him up.
Nobody was really that good at those games.
Yeah.
It was all kind of mediocre. Who was good was Duchovny was good.
Yeah.
George Clooney was. They both had the same kind of minimalist moves, like from Princeton, because Duchovny played for Princeton, and just good outside shot. Never worked up a sweat.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, Tom Petty came.
Wow.
He came walking down the pathway. I thought, does Tom Petty play basketball? He was fully street clothes, no shorts or anything. Anyway, it turns out he was just watching because he knows Gary from the Larry Sanders Show, because he was on that. And he sat on the bench by the court, and he had his legs crossed. Ow, my balls. His legs crossed. And, but it wasn't just once. It seemed like it was like a rope where he went around like a couple of times because he's so thin.
Yeah.
And he had a cigarette. He was chain smoking. One hand, and he always had another cigarette ready to go.
Whoa.
When this one burned out, he was just bringing it into the mouth like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then afterwards, you have you'd hang out in that little TV room and the game on, and Adam McKay and stuff, and they'd be asking him questions because he was like the mentor to everybody. And he'd be sitting in a chair like this, and we'd be all sitting around, still recovering, still red and sweating. And we just talk about comedy, and it was such a great hang.
Yeah.
He'd have catered food, from some deli nearby. And I knew in his cupboard he had my favorite cookies. It's full of like Pepperidge Farm double chocolate Milano cookies lined up. And everything was so neat in his house. You open up the refrigerator, there's no leftovers in there. It's all like, Perrier's lined up in a row, clean, maybe a little something from the deli the night before, but still with top on it,
Did you ever see his documentary? The one that Apatow did?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, because there's that great part in the end where his girl wants to get married, and he's kind of like, I don't know if I'm a marriage guy. And he goes, how about this? We'll get married when we finish building the house. So he just kept adding wings onto the house because he didn't want it to end. So he'd have to get married.
Well, it's interesting, too, because he's definitely a hero of yours. You had a kid late. Were there ever points where you're like asking him, what do I do?
No, not for that, because he was totally blank on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was a bachelor till the end.
He had trouble committing too.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing him like a couple of days before he died. We were at this restaurant in Malibu, on PCH, outside. And I said, Gary, you seeing anybody these days? He said, well, I have a therapist that I've been going to, and no, I said, no, I don't mean therapy. I mean a woman. He was thinking, he goes, no, I just got to get my health together first.
Yeah, you see, it's always something he's got to do.
But he did tell me how he. This is funny. I said, Gary, how do you when you invite somebody back to your room, how do you like make that move? He goes, what I do is I sit on the side of the bed, and she's standing over there, and I'll check my answering machine. He had a little beeper at the time, a landline, and I'll be checking it and listening, and then I'll go like this to her. Yeah, kind of like this is not the. It's just sit here, another sit here. I'm going to be on the phone, so it's not like, and then and then it would start from there.
Did he date Sharon Stone, or am I crazy?
I think he did.
Wow.
I think so.
I mean, it was definitely in the show. I don't know if it was real.
Pull that up. But he had quite a dating history.
He actually did. He was charming.
He's very charming, enlightened guy.
And he do a lot of jokes about his mother, how she wanted to marry him or something. And my favorite joke I did at the Morril actually was my biggest fear is that Garry Shandling will spend the rest of eternity with his mother now.
Wow, Sharon Stone and Linda Doucette and Silverman. Holy moly. He got the young
Well,
Silverman.
Sarah would always play basketball with us, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark.